Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are live today with another edition of Veteran Nation Live. Well, that's going to be in my way, so let me put that back down. I've been playing around with the graphics today, so please excuse us if anything gets screwed up. But I do want to welcome, as always, my two co-hosts, TC and AVA. Welcome, guys.
Yeah. Hey.
Good morning.
Now we do have a guest. She's going to be joining us later on in the show. We are doing this a little bit earlier because I have an event where I'm going to be going, and it's a surprise event for a veteran who helps a lot of people. So that's why we're doing things a little bit earlier than what we normally do. And our guest will be along, but we have plenty of things to talk about. Before we get started, is there anything you gentlemen want to bring to the show's attention?
To the show's attention?
Yeah, we can talk about whatever.
I mean, I don't want to bring anything to the show's attention, but I might want to bring something to the attention of the audience.
Sure. Let's dive into it.
No, AVA said he had something first, so.
Oh, no, I was saying nothing.
Oh.
I'm here for the show.
You guys, AVA is a brand new homeowner, and you can see by his background, he has a very fancy house. So, I mean, being a stay-at-home dad clearly pays off.
It's a background.
Oh, that's not your actual
sugar mama. Gotta get me one of those.
No, but I am a new homeowner. It's definitely a big change. I didn't realize that you got to pay for everything.
What did you think it would entail? That you could just now pay mortgage and the mortgage company is going to fix it all for you?
I meant like garbage. You got to pay for garbage.
Yeah. That's a separate assessment from my property tax. I was like, why don't you just put this in my property tax? But no, $400 my first 2 years. So, and of course they didn't tell me, they didn't send me a bill. They just put a lien on my property. And I was like, well, how was I supposed to know I even had to pay this? But I paid it.
But it's fun. It's definitely a big change, but I'm enjoying it.
It's definitely worthwhile.
Isn't this like your second night in the house, though?
Yes.
Things do get cheaper over time. I will say that, like, because you slowly pay the house off.
That's great, though. The VA home loan definitely helps a lot. So for the other veterans out there, take advantage of the VA home loan.
It's the best thing that veterans have going in terms of building wealth.
Well, you mean homes. Are we doing economics with Skipper again?
Well, most Americans, their savings is wrapped up into their home. And that's most people when they die. That's where the family gets their inheritance, selling the home.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's the smartest route, but it is the most common. I've got a couple stories for you guys today.
Well, I was gonna. I need the help of the Veteran Nation Live audience and anybody else who might tune in.
Sure.
I'm not going to go into details, but I'm investigating or working on a story of a disappearance of a young man here in Minnesota, and he disappeared in 2020, and the last people who saw him alive were the law enforcement officers who were chasing him he was on a motorcycle, and they were chasing him, and he allegedly laid his motorcycle down all on his own, and still managed to get up and run from them into the deep woods, with the deputies chasing him, one of them even drawing his gun and yelling at him to stop. Now, why he drew his gun, I don't know. If you know anything about the Graham factors when it comes to use of force and lethal force, A fleeing suspect is not considered dangerous if you don't have, especially when they're running into the deep woods of Minnesota. I mean, like, no. But yeah, anyway, so the last people to see him alive were law enforcement, and then they subsequently refused to do any investigation into his disappearance after the fact,
Interesting.
claiming that he got what he deserved. If he disappeared while running from cops, he got what he deserved. I'm not making that up. So we're investigating this story. We're working on it, digging into it. But what we need, because it has been over 5 years now since this young man disappeared, he's had no contact with anyone, not a single family member. Law enforcement is still saying that he's alive. They're claiming he's alive. He's just hiding. And I don't know about you, but if I were alive for 5 years and hiding, I would at least make some sort of contact with family.
Right.
See, and this is exactly why stories like this are important, because Nancy says shouldn't have been running. No arguments. Not arguing that it's okay to run from cops if you're being pulled over. You pull over and you cooperate with the stop in as much as you are required to constitutionally. You comply. But there's a bunch about this story that just absolutely stinks, to include reports being filed by deputies a year after the incident. And I don't mean
this is a weird one.
And I don't mean like supplemental reports. I mean the initial report of the deputy who pulled his gun did not get filed until a year after the kid disappeared.
That doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah,
and they refused to investigate him as a missing person, claiming that he got what he deserved. They, it's a pretty big deal, and we're working on it. But what we need our canine people out there, who know people who raise dogs, breed dogs. We need cadaver dogs, because the only cadaver dog teams in the state of Minnesota that are available refuse to work with the family.
Huh.
Is it because
calling them conspiracy theorists?
Are they scared of retaliation?
We only work with law enforcement, ironically.
Interesting.
So
yeah, let's push on this story a lot more.
And we will be. My researcher, my volunteer deep diver and researcher who combs through files for me is already digging through all of the reports, digging through all the family's data that she has. We're getting the body cam footage. I've already started to watch through some of the body cam footage, and what all you see in one of them is a deputy walking around the woods with his gun out, yelling, "Stop running, stop running." You never, I have yet to see a glimpse of the person that he claims he's yelling at.
Interesting.
So
I'd like to see that footage. That
when I get the body cam footage and I get it downloaded, and you know what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to put it into a video system, and I'm going to slow it down and watch it 3,000 times. It just, and the initial deputy who called in the stop is now the sheriff of the agency, investigating itself to figure out if it's done anything wrong.
Do you think Do you think maybe he was taken by aliens, or maybe even slipped into a vortex?
Could be Bigfoot.
On the next Better Nation Unexplained.
Well, it does have certain, it is unexplained. I don't care how you slice it. There's no way to explain.
Yeah.
there's absolutely no way to explain how he disappeared, and the last people to see him alive were law enforcement, and they showed no interest in finding him. None.
And this is in Minnesota.
Yes.
Which part?
I don't. I don't want to say too much because
That's fine. Still in the research phase.
Yeah, I'm still in the research phase, but we need cadaver dogs. We need people who know people that and this isn't to say that the deputies are responsible. We don't know. That's the problem.
Yeah. In any investigation, you have to be willing to entertain all possibilities.
Right. Now, I have a few theories, based on what I know about reports being filed already. If you know anything about anything at all that has to do with law enforcement, you don't have an incident where you involve multiple officers or deputies from your agency in a somewhat high-speed vehicular pursuit of a motorcycle, have the suspect disappear, have one of your deputies draw a gun, and reports don't get written before the end of the shift. You drop what you're doing and you write your reports. There's no agency that I have ever talked to or been exposed to where you have an incident like that, where you're told, don't worry about writing your reports, we'll get around to it. That's not how it works. It is not. So I'm just.
So he's been missing for 5 years?
He's been missing for 5 years. No contact with anyone.
Is this something that the FBI would get involved in?
But FBI isn't going to get involved in a story like this unless they have the request of the local agency to get involved.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or if the state steps in and says, hey, we're going to need somebody bigger than that. And that's why I'm saying we're looking for someone who's willing to volunteer cadaver dogs, or help us find someone who's willing to volunteer cadaver dogs and make the trip, if they have to come up and start searching this area. Because if he disappeared 5 years ago in this area, we'll find his. There's just no way that his body is not still there.
If any viewers have someone that they know that has a cadaver dog, please let us know, because I'm interested in this. I would even probably travel to Minnesota to help with any type of search.
Yeah, this is and once again, if we end up finding out who did that, there's no way he just died out there on his own.
Is it pretty easy to get lost in those woods?
It's easy to get lost in the woods if you don't know the woods, if you don't know the area. But this guy grew up in the area. That's the thing, is like it's like somebody who, if you grew up in an urban environment and all of your navigating comes from, oh yeah, you go down here to 19th Street, you hook a right, then you go over to Bob's Barbecue, and then you hook a left right there in behind Bob's Barbecue. That little alley that's not an alley, but it's a street, but you think it's an alley, but it's not. Well, you hook in there, and then you go past the Chinese laundry, and you're talking to somebody who's never been in town, and they're like, huh?
You got to go down to the O'Donohue place that burnt down 5 years ago. You got to turn right there.
Yeah, and that's so. Can you get lost in the woods? Sure, you can. When you're from the area and you know the area, you don't just get lost in the woods and die of exposure.
That's just not, by the way.
Yeah, that's his new character. Yeah. So if we have any cadaver dog people or people with connections,
there's a multiple amount of things that could have.
Yeah. I mean, Nancy even saying he could have fallen and hit his head. Once again, not arguing that he couldn't have. What I'm arguing is, even if law enforcement didn't do anything nefarious, they didn't do due diligence and search for him when the family said, where the fuck is he? They're like, oh, he'll show up. Don't worry about it. He's just hiding.
They just don't want to look for him, because then they'd have to admit that Bigfoot exists.
See, exactly. And then we have another episode to do. But yeah, I don't. It's so I'm working on that. We're working on
Okay.
that. So.
I don't know if there's any of these stories. I brought 3 stories today. I don't know if any of them interest you. I think I've got one that'll be pretty quick. If I can pull it up here, let me get the image. Oh, nope, that is the wrong one. Sorry. That was for something else I was working on. There we go. And let me remove this one. With this one, a comedian, John Reap, who he was actually a winner, I believe, of Last Comic Standing. American comedian and actor John Reap is facing felony child sexual exploitation charges after being arrested on Friday, September 5th, in his home state of North Carolina. Rep 53 was booked into jail after Hickory Police Department officers arrested him on 1 count of second-degree child exploitation of a minor and 9 counts of third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor, a Catawba County Sheriff Office spokesman told USA Today. It concerned child sexual abuse material, so child porn, essentially. During the course of the investigation, detectives confiscated some of his personal property. Police spokesman Kristen Hart said, according to the information, news release, and police report obtained by USA Today, a grand jury indicted Reap on September 2nd for charges related to cyberspace crimes. He posted a $260,000 bond and is pending his next court appearance. So yeah, this is him. He was on Last Comic Standing, which he won back in 2007. He was also on the ABC sitcom Rodney. So
yeah, never watched any of that ever. Where? Okay, I see my background change. Where did I go? What happened to me?
I think you hid your camera.
Really, it boggles my mind the amount of people that are arrested for child exploitation. It seems like it's a daily news story.
Right. So that one's out there. I just grabbed it because he is a comedian. He's a national personality. He's been on Last Comic Standing. So I was like, okay, this one I think needs more attention because I didn't see a whole lot of people talking about it other than just a couple here and there. But I wanted to bring attention to that because, when people are exploiting children, they need to be outed. Absolutely outed.
No, 100% right, but I don't. I'm gonna have a hard time saying, yeah, hang this guy up by the short hairs when we just had a representative of Israel get busted.
That's right.
Literally doing far worse, and was escorted safely out of the country by our own government to go back to Israel, where he does not have to worry about facing deportation.
What was his role?
Diplomat, though, right?
Huh?
Wasn't he a diplomat?
I can't remember exactly if he actually had full diplomatic protections, but when it comes to victimizing our children, no, you don't. No. Our friendship, if you want to call it that, with your country is not worth you getting away with victimizing underage girls in our country. Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna bomb us?
It's very possible.
And speaking of children, this next one does involve a child. It's a video.
And ball hit the fan. Oh, the Phillies fan came in, and He stole it from another Phillies fan. Oh, she can't believe it. Whoa!
What the is wrong with the dad?
Easy.
Oh,
He
yeah.
he actually
Yup.
didn't steal it from her.
We have a little
Um,
infighting here.
You know, he
That's what
did
he
give
claims.
it
But
to what
what
I
had
would
happened
assume
was
is his
the guy
son,
she was
maybe.
with didn't
Okay.
Did give it to the youngster.
he didn't what am I trying to say? He didn't catch it. It was dropped, it rolled down in front of them, and this dad was in the same aisle and ran over and picked it up off of the ground as I throw my phone. And uh, she then confronted him. I do have her confronting him, and he had given it to his son, and she uh, took it away from him. If I can find the other video here. Sorry, I'm looking for it. I did save it, where she accuses him of taking it right out of her hand.
As far as I know, it's whoever gets the ball in the end. If you drop it, that's on you.
That is generally how it goes at baseball games. Whoever it's a scrum. If you drop it and someone else grabs it, it is then legally theirs.
You were dealing. The dad was clearly a beta male, by the way. Did you see the way he freaked out when she touched his shoulder?
Oh, you didn't freak out. There is some good news on the story. Well, this is
I'm
the
sorry. I
woman
just
here,
like
and she was getting booed. Obviously, flipped off the crowd, and people have been trying to identify her. But the good news about it is this one right here. The young man was brought down, and that was Bader who hit the home run and gave the young man an autographed bat.
Bader.
That's cool.
Lord Vader, rise. Oh,
Bader with a B.
oh, Bader. Oh,
Yeah. But
well, and the Marlins gave him a big care package for him and his sister too. And
they
now
did.
it's come out that this woman did pretty much the same thing at a concert a couple weeks ago over. I think it was like the band is called Tourniquet or something like that. I don't know, but she did kind of the same thing there, and the band came out and said, "Yeah, just so you guys know, she's done this before." And what I have a problem with is everybody wanting to dox her, putting out her home address, and now trying to get her fired. Like, okay, she's in public, she's clearly a douchebag, all right? But is what like how are the people, especially on, because it's a lot of conservative commentators are weighing in on this and saying, I'm glad that people are going after these Karens. It's time we start shutting them down. And yeah, she should lose her job. Do you want her around your? I'm like, wait a minute. In
Hell yeah.
2020 and 2021, when people were getting doxxed and canceled all over the place for not having the right opinions on COVID, you guys are screaming bloody murder about it. That's not right. That somebody can be an asshole, but that doesn't mean you harass their employers until the person is fired. So, yeah, she's a bitch. No argument. Leave her
My
alone.
whole thing about this is, like, if you're an adult and you go to a game or something and you get something like that, give it to the kids. Like,
Right.
For me,
It's your same theory as Disney adults.
well, yeah, with Disney adults, I have a big problem with them. They're interrupting things that are clearly for the kids, and it's all because they're emotionally stunted.
Did you want to bring up the other one before Mindy comes in?
Yeah, we can talk about the other one. Hold on here. Let me get it. This one I actually have 2 pictures for.
See, Georgie is sending you DMs to try and derail you again. That's why you
So
threw your phone, isn't it?
JD Vance said killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. Brian Krasenstein said killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime. And JD Vance responded, I don't give a shit what you call it. And then, if I can pull up this other image, Brian Krasenstein then posted this that he's willing to talk to the International Criminal Court to testify about JD Vance, his tweet.
Well, I mean, I don't like the Kranzensteins. They're leftist whack jobs, and the International Criminal Court's not going to take the Kranzenstein brothers seriously at all. Like, and they don't need the Kranzensteins for testimony. And the International Criminal Court's not going to do anything. I mean, they haven't done anything about Netanyahu saying we will end Palestine. And with the evidence that they have that they are intentionally targeting unarmed people now, like they just make no bones about it. We've got witnesses. So like the International Criminal Court is about it. Well, it's about as effective as the UN in doing anything of substance. But to a degree, Krasenstein is right. They're just because they're in international waters doesn't make them fair game. It just you're just not fair game. That and then after you've gone ahead and murdered them, then you come out and say, "Well, we had evidence that they were running drugs." Well, they did that. Obama did that, and conservatives lost their mind. Obama ordered the execution of American citizens in other countries, and said, "Don't worry about due process." And conservatives lost their minds over that. That's not right. You don't do that. Just because they're in another country doesn't mean that their rights end. Well,
I'll say this. Like I agree with you on that. Like the legality of bombing them, it is kind of a murky area. I don't think in general we should be doing that. But on the flip side, for the people who didn't criticize Obama for bombing American citizens to then say, oh, like Krasenstein saying this is a war crime, just shut the hell up. Just
right.
shut the hell up.
No disagreement. I like I said, I don't like the Krasensteins. But I don't like the hypocrisy on either side.
But I will say this. I voted for JD Vance because of his response of I don't give a shit what you say, which is what many people on the right didn't do for the longest time. Many people on the right always wanted to play this we're better than, the other side, so we're going to do this. And it's as our political stage has gotten more and more dirtier, that's I get tired of the liberals just doing whatever and just telling me shut the fuck up and suck on it. Well, now we're doing it back.
Well, right. I think there's something to be said for not playing their game. Where they, it's like Bill Cosby's old. I know I probably can't mention Bill Cosby. We're probably now canceled, but Bill Cosby did the old joke about the rules of engagement in the American War for Independence, and they had you can imagine a referee between the colonialists and the redcoats, and the referees are like, okay, here are the rules. Redcoats, you will march in perfect lines and squares. You will fire in ranks. You will not target officers. You will follow all accepted rules of European engagement or warfare and engagement. Colonials, you will hide behind trees. You'll work with the native population. You'll shoot anything that moves, and you will not follow any standard battlefield protocols. Does that sound fair? And it's so I agree. Like, we don't have to play by their rules, but you're also talking about human beings, and that's what bothers me. And we're not even a hop, skip, and a jump away from them deciding that Americans are a threat. Like, I mean, they're not just talking about Trump's not just talking about putting the National Guard into Chicago to go after just illegals. He's talking about using them to enforce the laws of Illinois and Chicago on the streets of Chicago. And he's talking about doing it in other large cities. When you start using the military for that, folks, you need to understand that opens a massive can of worms, and saying that it's the highest and best use of our military to bomb a boat in the Gulf, basically. I mean, wouldn't have been in the Gulf. Uh-oh. I lost you.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, no. Well, I think TC was popping out. Yeah, and here he comes right back in.
Did I get you fired me? Jeez.
We can't take your libertarian bullshit anymore.
Well, then I hope Mindy does make it in, because
she's here if we want to bring her up and to talk.
Oh yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I didn't know she was here. I was waiting for you to announce it.
Yep, she just jumped in. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Veteran Nation. She is a gun model and actress. Here is Mindy Robinson. Welcome.
Did you see the face she made when you said a gun model? I'm like, what model is she? Is she like a Colt 1911? Is she like, what is she, an AR? Mindy, are you an AR-15 in disguise?
No,
if you
no.
are, we are going to have to turn you in.
No. I think my moodling days are over. That's why I left. So
moodling.
I'm moodling.
Thanks for being here.
Cute though, right?
Thank you. I can't see myself, so I hope you guys can see me.
We could trust me, all the guys can see you. So.
So, you have questions or?
No, he just wanted to bring you on to promote his own to promote our channel. So that's
It happens.
Well, we've been talking about doing stuff for a while, and Mindy was at Burning Man. And I do have that story about Burning Man, which is really what I wanted to talk to her about. But TC, I knew how you were about this story with JD Vance and the Krasenstein. So if she wanted to come in and talk about that.
About the government blowing up a boat that they tell us are drug runners. I mean, no one has a problem with that, with a government that's been lying to us about absolutely everything. I think it's a slippery slope. I mean, I was a terrorist to this government a couple of years ago. I got my FBI at-home visit for being a speaker at J6 and all that, and I have a hard time believing anything this government does. Never mind the fact we're going after Venezuela for drugs and not their oil at all, even though there's all these other countries like China that are much, much worse when it comes to producing fentanyl, and they're not going after the manufacturers. It looks like the government intends to replace the drug runners with themselves, which is within the realm of possibility if you know anything about the CIA.
You just made TC's day. Even though he walks off camera, you just made his day.
He ran down the hallway screaming.
I heard it all. I turned the cans up so I could go get my coffee, refill my coffee, and I was just dancing while you know how hard it is to pour coffee while you're dancing to the sounds of a woman saying the most wonderful things you've ever heard in your life.
I dance all the time, but I don't drink coffee. But yeah, I get the hint of it.
Well, we officially entered our one of 2 seasons here in Minnesota, and that is, oh hey, summer's over, welcome to winter. So I'm trying to,
Well, it makes me feel better. I can't use the AC and do anything on video because it's too loud. So it's probably about 95 in here in the Airstream already. So luckily I'm pretty heat tolerant. So my phone will die before I do of heating. So.
I was gonna have heat.
I used to be. TC remembers the days where I had to be like, okay, I got to shut off the AC because we're gonna go live.
Yep. And then they would sit there and look like an old time fundamentalist pastor, patting his head with it.
Sweating like a whore in church. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Skipper's ever approached the level of horror, but he's tried. He's tried. So, so I love what you said, that just a couple of years ago you were considered a terrorist to this country, and that's what I always try to remind people on my own platform and here as well when we're doing this show together. But even on my own platform, the things that you cheer for today because your guy's in charge will eventually be used against you when the other guy is in charge. And I think a lot of people have forgotten that, Mindy, from the last couple of years, that how angry they were about the idea of bringing the military in, during, to help enforce COVID measures and using law enforcement to shut down school board meetings because parents were refusing to mask up and, follow all these things. And they were, upset when, people were run off of beaches in California. And I'm like, why are you cheering for those exact same things today now just because your guy's in charge and doing them?
Because it was marketed to them very well. I mean, the government knows what it's doing. If we were ever together as one people, we would realize that the enemy is not ourselves. It's this illegitimate foreign bank controlled government. And so you sell it to we're killing drug runners. Yay! And they don't see the big picture of if our government is showing us that, then they really mean to hide something else. Absolutely. And I've woken up to just see, I see the news and I see the psyop every single time.
It couldn't
And
possibly be, hey, it couldn't possibly be, hey, we're killing drug runners out of Venezuela. Never mind the Epstein files.
It's like a magician. Like I'm the worst person to take to a magic show because whatever they're doing with this hand, if they're trying to get you to look at, I look at the other hand. It's just natural. There's no deflection with me. And a lot of people have caught on and don't get the fact that they're not reacting to the negative energy, that they aren't seeing through the psyop. But yes, there are people. And I did a post and I got chewed out by people like, but we're killing. Like, do you really think our government that lied to us about everything, including the medical
They're jamming her signal.
to us, is being truthful about this video that they're showing us, but not showing us like them blowing up the drugs to the boat? I would love to see that video. But they don't have that. They're not going after the manufacturers. They're not going after the people that make these things.
We're starting to have some audio issues, Mindy.
That's awful static.
We're starting to have some audio issues. I think because I do know she doesn't, where she's at right now, doesn't have the strongest Wi-Fi. So just FYI, Mindy, if you can hear us.
I can. You sound funny. So I don't know who's having the audio issues. I guess. So that's fine.
It sounds like it's coming from your end because we're all getting it here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame AVA, Veterans Affairs Media. I'm just gonna blame him.
That's pretty awful. I can hear.
I have that power.
Yeah, hopefully it's just a Wi-Fi issue and it comes right back for you.
No Wi-Fi here. I haven't had Wi-Fi in days. Welcome to living in a trailer.
Well, at least you probably restart your phone. We've had issues with AVA in the past where we've had to tell. He went over a year once without restarting his phone. A year, over a year.
I'm trying to do giant Faraday cage. Let me see if this works. Okay, hold on. Let's do it.
So just for everyone can see, she's living in an Airstream.
Yeah, it's still I don't know. Does that help at all?
A little bit.
This is bad. I don't know, guys. I'm outside.
We could send AVA over to help you restart your phone.
Thank you.
Yeah, I learned how to do that.
Other than that, he's worthless when it comes to tech. So
pretty much.
You thought this might be the government actually interfering with us?
That's what I'm saying.
Every time it happens to me, I blame the government, and then they send a welfare check on me. So.
The FBI van's up the road hitting a switch.
Here she goes again. Maybe go out and come back in.
Yeah, you might need to log out and log back in. I know I've had that problem on mobile before myself, where I've had to do that.
I have both Restream and StreamYard when going through mobile are terrible about sound, and I do not know why. I go back and listen to some of it, and I'm like, what in the world is that about? Which is why I don't live stream on my phone anymore through StreamYard. Unless I'm doing something with you, I don't do it. I do everything now just right on my desktop, which is why the next time we do a cooking with TC,
Yeah.
I'm setting up the laptop and
There we
putting
go.
the mic and the cam on the laptop.
I keep suggesting to Restream they need to do a mobile app because
I think Restream and StreamYard both need to, and I think that
Yeah.
would improve a lot of those problems or fix them. So
it's been a while since I've looked at vMix. Okay, she's back.
Okay, does that work?
Yeah,
Okay, we can hear
that
you now.
works. So
Okay. Oh, I just realized now I can see myself. I had to scroll down. No one told me this was in the way the whole time. You guys are funny.
Oh, I thought that was on purpose.
we're like she's eclectic.
You can see Bob. Bob's always here. He's my Remember the April Fool's prank where I told everyone I brought the cutest kitty cat home. He's so cute, and everyone's like, "It's a fucking bobcat." Yeah, that was fun.
We prefer Bob much more than having to look at Skipper's living girlfriend right behind him.
What?
That's Lacey. And she's wearing Veteran Nation merch that everyone can buy at veterannationfoundation.com.
That was a very smooth plug.
No, don't encourage him, please. Oh, well, she was like done. She heard your plug and was done. I'm like, I don't blame her. Oh yeah. So yeah, the next time we do cooking with TC, that's interesting that we were talking about this the other day. Cooking with TC, we are going to start off on my phone, and we're going to go to my local grocery store, and we're going to go through the produce and the meat department together, and we're going to pick out the food from produce and from the meat department, and we're going to completely come up with a recipe based on nothing more than what's available in the store.
That sounds fun.
Do we get to have? Do us in the audience get to have any input on what you're going to cook?
Not you.
I was going to vote for haggis.
Well, it's got to be something available. So I don't know how Scottish you think our region is, but
What's a regional or like a popular dish that you guys have out there in Minnesota?
yeah, that's why I don't make Minnesota cuisine.
So there's like a specific cuisine from families out there?
Yeah, hot dish.
or lutefish.
No, that's lutefisk, not
Lutefisk. That's right. You corrected me once before on that.
Skipper would like to apologize for his shameless plug that made Mindy want to leave.
No, my phone overheated. So that's what's wrong with it. It's so fucking hot in this Airstream, and I had to put the AC on. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's gonna have
No,
to
it's
be AC. I don't even know if it's gonna. I threw my phone in the fridge. I managed to reconnect. What do you want from me?
Is this the only way that you're safe? Is you pick up and move locations every day or two?
I did not get the tow vehicle, so I'm here. I am just in the Airstream.
Just in the Airstream, just
Making the
living
most
in
of
the
life.
Airstream.
Yeah, no, whatever.
See, a lot more people are doing that now. Is it an issue where you were just like, I like scaled down, or?
Well, I just got out of an 11-year relationship, so I'm just trying to simplify my life, and saving the world doesn't actually pay, believe it or not. So I'm just trying to keep everything simple, and I kind of like it. So.
Oh, trust
I make the
me,
most of
I
it. I got a little
know.
cat,
I know how much it doesn't pay when you're trying to save the world. I know the feeling very well.
And there's nothing quite like watching all my peers shill for Israel or whatever the fuck the flavor is of the month, and make money on it. It's wonderful, but I hope people see through that too.
Talking to you, Brandon Tatum.
Well,
Brandon, only one person spit on me.
Now, you were just at Burning Man, and how was that?
It was amazing, honestly, and it's one of those things I could describe it, but until you're there, you're not going to understand it. It was a musical festival. Everyone was so nice. Everyone just wanted to dance, and of course, You know, every post I made, there were people that are like, "Oh, the orgy 10, or I bet you get laid." Like, I'm a woman. I live in Vegas. If I want to get laid, I can get laid in 10 minutes. I choose not to every day. I try to be a responsible human being. If I wanted to contribute, I could sure find it. My joke was the only thing.
We're getting the audio issues again.
Your phone's overheating.
Oh, no,
Yeah, we're getting the audio issues again.
what do we do?
Yeah.
You should, you could try sitting in the refrigerator with your phone. That would.
Well, I think the audio issues, I think they might be related to the to Restream, just because I've had that same issue when I've tried to go on with Coop and Georgie.
But everybody came to watch. Everybody came to watch because Mindy was here today, and they wanted to hear her talk about things. They didn't want to hear us talk about your experiences with Restream.
True.
I wanted to hear about what happened at Burning. All I heard was that there was like some major malfunction at Burning Man this year, and
well, there was this. A gentleman was killed at Burning Man, and he's been identified as a Russian man, and he was found in a pool of blood. His name is Vladim Kuglov, a 37-year-old Russian national who came there, and they found his lifeless body in a puddle of blood just as the central totem of a large man began burning Saturday, signaling the end of the festival. And this is what I'd like to get Mindy's take on, because this year there were several sexual assaults at Burning Man that made it very like they got social media attention, and they were encouraging people not to talk with the authorities. Now, I've heard a conspiracy theory that this guy was the one committing the sexual assaults and they took the law into their own hands. I can't confirm that.
I don't even know if you can hear me. I only made like about half of it. But I mean, if you look at the average day in Chicago, how many people die? How many people die of overdoses at EDC? Death is possible no matter where you are. And we don't know the story. And as much as I am a conspiracy theorist, I don't even have enough facts to even guess what could happen. I don't know if it was suicide. I don't know if it was murder. And it's funny how they just don't want people to have fun so much that they would blow up the weather, which really wasn't that bad. I slept it off in my tent. They'll blow up. I saw no degeneracy. I have more scumbags hitting on me at CPAC than I did at Burning Man. So sorry, but like for me, it wasn't. I didn't see what people see in it, and I don't understand these Christians.
I heard
like all these like it's pagan. I'm like, number one, I'm Irish. We danced around a bonfire on like Tuesday, and I bet all of them are putting up Christmas trees and hiding Easter eggs. So I don't want to hear about how England take candy. It's music, it's dancing, it's a bonfire, and it's a lot of friendly extroverts. It's like a festival of the most extroverted people you've ever seen.
which is why TC will never be there, because I'm not an extrovert, and we came for the hot chick, not the other three dorks. Thanks, Georgie. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, she's not wrong. Georgie's right. Everybody did come for the hot chick, but that was a loaded statement. But
For me, I'm just not much of a festival goer. Even before my PTSD, now my tinnitus, if I went to any concert, my tinnitus will be off the chain. But for me, yeah, I've never been really, that's never really been my scene. But I was fascinated by a lot of these stories of the sexual assaults and this guy getting murdered. It'll be interesting to see what the investigation that comes out of this. And the thing is, I have friends who live up in Reno, who've been wanting me to come up there. Maybe I should go up there and try to solve the murder next year.
That'd be fun. If there's anything left behind.
well, I was now, since we're minus the hot chick again, I'm still AVA's baby daddy.
You owe me child support.
I'll get that to you as soon as I get all my other stuff caught up. So,
How am I
Kids
cheesy?
need shoes.
but we just had this attack on the Roman Catholic school / church here in Minnesota, a week and a half ago now, and our governor is about ready to order out of session a special session for our Congress and our House representatives and our Senate to come in to pass very draconian gun control laws, which, by the way, I don't believe in any kind of gun control law. I don't believe there should be any laws about who can own what. If you can afford a nuclear weapon, you should be able to buy one. That's my view of it. Government should not have access to weaponry that the average citizen cannot have. But
I still firmly believe that only a judge should be able to deny anyone their constitutional rights. And if you think that someone is mentally ill, you should have to go in front of a judge. I know they're saying that they're going to take guns away from trans people. I only support that in the instance of it will get it in front of the Supreme Court faster, which I expect the Supreme Court to strike down and then affirm all of our rights finally and definitively. That's the
problem
only thing
is that's not what Trump is doing. The Trump administration is not proposing a ban on transgender people owning firearms because this is 5D chess and he's trying to get in front of the Supreme Court. He's pandering to his audience who really, they've never dived into this topic. It's literally an issue of Trump pandering.
Well, we have her back. It's just a little bit jumping.
Oh, she's got a unicorn. That'll
There
make
you go, Georgie.
should make Georgie happy.
Georgie keeps saying she wants to put a plunger on my forehead and turn me into a unicorn.
Oh man, I could see it.
But man, I wish we. There we go.
Oh, there it goes. We can see her real well now.
Oh. All right, AVA, we're going to need you to pick up from where you are, hop in your car, and rush to Mindy's location.
Oh, on it.
He's harmless. He's harmless, by the way. I
have noodle hands.
Yeah. But the number of people in the conservative movement right now who are screaming shouts of joy and adoration for Trump because he wants to take guns away from transgender people are once again completely missing the boat on what shall not be infringed means. And as Mindy had said earlier, and as most of you have heard me say, that which can be used against your philosophical enemy now will eventually be used against you. And where do you draw the line? Anybody that's got a mental health issue? So if you have chronic, clinical depression, are you in cluster B personality disorder camp? Maybe if you have borderline personality disorder, maybe you shouldn't be allowed to have a gun. Well, we're going to declare this person's a sociopath. They can't have a gun. This person's a psychopath. They can't have a gun. Where do you draw the line? Now, if this person is clearly and demonstrably presents a threat, then we could start by getting them help first. And what do we see in every one of these cases? Almost without fail, I guarantee you that this freaking shooter from Minneapolis, hour and a half from me, I guarantee you he's had contact with law enforcement or with the federal government in recent months. I guarantee it. And every single time that happens, they end up going out and shooting up a bunch of people. The Buffalo, New York grocery store shooter had a retired FBI agent that he was in constant contact with just before he shot up the grocery store. The Route 61 concert shooter. Connections to federal agents and deep state agents all over the place.
The Route 91 shooter didn't shoot anybody. He was already dead. Did you see my documentary?
Which one?
It's on my Twitter and Facebook. I did a 2-hour full-length documentary. I spent half a year on the Las Vegas shooting. It wasn't one gunman.
Right.
It was government patsy. There are hundreds of reports of people hearing and seeing other gunmen that nobody will fucking talk about. Nobody will have me on.
Right.
Nobody. So, you know.
I will. You could come on my show.
But it's not mainstream. It's not going to get out to people. It'll just get suppressed in the algorithm.
Hey, I am proudly not mainstream. God damn it.
What I
Yeah,
find
no,
funny is they're
I know what
releasing
you
new
mean.
footage of it.
But the problem is not taking guns off tranny crazy shooters. The problem is, why are all these mass shooters previously known to feds? How does a government that spies on everything we do not catch these people, and they let it happen? They encourage it. That's the problem. The problem is our government is behind almost every domestic mass incident that we've had, whether it's the Boston bombing or the Oklahoma bombing or the Las Vegas shooting. It only happens if the government allows it to. That's what 9/11 was about.
Yep. Skipper, you brought her on just because you wanted me to feel not alone for once.
You've got a lot of knowledge.
Well,
But that's the thing. I guarantee you, Mindy will back me up on that. It's not the amount of knowledge that you have. It's the amount of how freaking tired of the bullshit you are. And you open your eyes and you just say, okay, I'm not going to look at the surface. I'm going to go deeper than the surface from now on. And most people in the United States are too goddamn lazy to get past the surface. They want to, they literally stop at, oh, it's a tranny, therefore it must be a leftist agenda to kill all the conservative Christians in the Catholic Church. Or it's the left going, look, it's a conservative, right-wing, extremist, white nationalist that wants to kill a bunch of minorities. That's it. That's all the deeper any of them want to go. And then they all support some form of gun control and say it's for your safety.
By design, people aren't lazy. They're being
exactly.
They're being poisoned with grocery store toxins. They're being indoctrinated to be retards from the time that they enter school. If you escape the matrix, consider yourself lucky. But I used to think a lot of things that I don't think anymore, and I can't stop people for still thinking about them. All I can do is change my perspective, stop reacting to the purposeful division that they're doing to divide, deplete, and you know, keep us divided from each other. And inform people. I can put the information out there, they can catch on to it, or they can't. But COVID woke a lot of people up, and they're going to have a problem where it may not seem like we're winning, but they have nothing. They have nothing left but lies on top of lies that don't fucking make sense at all. And I think the end for them is coming, and they know it. I smell panic. That's how I feel, I think, anyway. I can look at anything and see that whatever the government says, the opposite is true. Guarantee it. You can apply that to anything. If the news, the mainstream news is reporting on it, I don't care who it supports, the opposite is going to be true, or they wouldn't be reporting on it.
Well, with the Mandalay Bay shooting, you know, they're now starting to release new videos, and everyone in the military who, you know, served for any considerable amount of time, you watch those videos, you can recognize the sound of a 240 Golf. You can understand that's what that is firing. That is not an AR-15 with a bump stock. No way. Totally different sound. You watch those videos, you're like, that is a M240. I know it. I've heard that sound too many times in my life.
You want to hear something funny? So everybody knows, every time you mention the Las Vegas shooting, do you know it was the incident commander, because they're stupid, but the incident commander got sent to Maui to cover up for the shit there. Everybody knows that, but not everybody understands that the sheriff, Joseph Lombardo, who covered it up, who did press conferences, who sweating and made up 3 different timelines, let evidence walk off this fucking scene, he is now our governor, because he won a primary against a more popular opponent in a race where 40,000 people couldn't vote because the DMV sent them a nonpartisan ballot, which didn't affect the Democrat because they were running an incumbent. And you know what? I voted for Trump 3 times. Well, where the flying fuck is he on these election problems that we're having? Nothing has changed. He won, so he's just not going to look into all these states like Arizona and Nevada that are just drowning in motherfucking fraud. What the fuck? Like, people are coming like, will you support me running in Nevada? Go fuck yourself. Why are you running? I ran. GOP-backed a guy that was convicted of murder a few months ago. Like, fuck these people. Nothing's going to change until we actually protest, which unfortunately, unless they're being paid, people in America don't want to. Except for J6, which was a setup. That's another story.
No disagreement here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why people are becoming libertarian. Right here. This is what everything she's saying. Stand by. I've got a call coming in.
And that's, how many more conspiracy theories do we have to see proved right? That's what I ask people. Like, I will listen to any conspiracy theory that people have. I will absolutely listen. Will I believe it? That depends. Depends on the thing. But I will definitely listen. Oh God, he's taking phone calls.
I feel like after COVID and after the decade we had conspiracy theories, who am I to shit on somebody else's conspiracy theory? They've obviously looked into it and believe it, usually for a reason. And I can count on my hands the ones that haven't been true yet. They haven't been disproven, they're just not true yet. And then I don't know. It's a lot more exciting. I'm not even mad. The world's a lot cooler place than this government is trying to teach it.
Have you heard the new one about India?
India?
Yeah, so this one sprang up this week with a lot of, and this is a conservative, like a conspiracy theory about conservatives, where a lot of people were tweeting about how India is not an enemy of the U.S. after they met with Russia and China. And then it came out, people were saying that all these conservative commentators have been paid by India to tweet this stuff. And they were using Gunther Eagleton, Election Wizard. I'm trying to think of like a couple of the others that.
And you know what? That happens every time you see a commentator just kind of oddly commenting on something they shouldn't be an expert at, but having these great bullet points just handed to them. That's them being told to tweet that. And it happened a while ago. Remember the whole big soda thing, where conservatives came out and suddenly they supported big soda like it wasn't been fucking killing people for decades? That's because they're getting paid to push it out. That's why I live in an Airbnb with no Wi-Fi and shitty AC, because I do not sell out my people. I lay my head on my pillow every night and go to sleep knowing I've done the right thing throughout the day, but I cannot. And you know what? All it does is their followers have to see it. I hope they see it. I hope they see it. Because it's becoming a much smaller circle. Look at Laura Loomer. I was friends with her. She can go fuck herself right now. She has Israel's cock so far down her mouth. I'm surprised she didn't even fucking tweet on her phone. You're America first or you're nothing. And nothing's gonna make I'm not pro-Hamas, I'm not pro-Islam. I just don't believe American taxpayers should be going to pay for another fucking country's health care when we don't even have that here for our own veterans. We shouldn't be paying for those war pigs to just, they're bombing Syria, they're bombing Yemen, they're bombing Palestine. Oh, but they're the victims. Go fuck yourself. Oh, they have hostages. They shot their own fucking people because they didn't want them to be taken as hostages. Probably because they didn't want witnesses. That's why they didn't fucking show up for 5 hours to help their own people.
Hannibal.
They're talking the most secure border in the fucking world. Fuck this shit. Fuck Laura Loomer. I hope she sucks. She's really fucking talk. Fuck her. I can't believe they're doing this shit to me. I'm sure she lives in a better situation than I do. I don't fucking care. At least I'm happy and at least I'm honest. Sorry. I didn't know if you understood that rant with static, but I had to do it.
I knew you'd be.
And you guys think I can rant. You guys think you think I can rant. That's half the reason people tune in when we do our show on Sundays. They know at some point I'm going to come off half cocked. You just went full cocked on that one. Well, accused Laura Loomer of being full cocked.
Look at her post. Look at her favorite 5 fucking minutes. Oh, Tucker, he must work for Qatar. Bitch, go fuck yourself. Cash your checks from APAC and live in your fucking nice house in Florida. Whatever the fuck you do. Have more plastic surgery that is liquid. I don't care. At the end of the day, she's not America first, and she can't say that. Just because she hates Muslims more, but she hates the war pigs in Israel. That's not right.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody, it was Hamas. It was the Palestinians that mailed the letter bombs to the White House. Wait, no. That was Zionist terrorists that did that. Yeah.
That took down the towers, and they knew the film before they even came down and had access to it. Oh, wait, no, we handed those Israelis, we handed them back. It was a Palestine. They trying to write the kid 10 minutes from here, because he was, oh no, that was Israel everybody in our fucking government.
AVA and Skipper, you guys can just turn your cams off. This is a Mindy and TC show now. So,
Well, so Mindy is an actress, and if we're gonna end on something fun, I think she would enjoy my elevator pitches.
no, I don't think she would. Mindy, I'm begging you, please do not agree to listen to us. You're not gonna enjoy this. This is I'm begging you, don't subject any of us to this. Oh.
So, okay, Mindy. So what I do, this is not an every show thing. I do it
Thank
every
God
once in a while, just as these ideas come to me. I write down my ideas for TV and movie and radio shows, and I then write a quick little elevator pitch, and then I bring it to the show, and you guys get to tell me if you like it or if you hate it.
They're not good. They're terrible.
So I'll start off. This first one, it's Jennifer Love Hewitt stars. She's a mother of 7, and being a mom has given her the ability to detect lies. And it's realized by veteran detective played by Larry Miller, who hires her as a human lie detector. It's called Motherly Instincts.
Okay. What's your superpowered motherly instincts? Oh, I'm a woman and I cringe at that.
I came with that one because my mom can always tell if I'm lying.
What?
My mom can always tell if I'm lying. That's how I got that idea.
I don't know.
Well, you're not wrong.
Oh God. Mindy, this is what I deal with all the time. All the time. All the time. And it's
Okay,
worse
the next
because he's
one-
got my phone number. And it's worse because he has my phone number.
Is this any news?
No, I'll
Okay.
just send him random thoughts.
Beat pick.
That might be worse.
Okay, my next elevator pitch. It's a TV show starring Ty Burrell from Modern Family. He is the straight man. He gets hired as a city manager of a Phoenix suburb just as the city council all resigns in scandal, and then they're replaced by a bunch of inexperienced rubes played by David Koechner, Bill Hader, and Ellie Kemper. It's Spin City meets Parks and Rec.
That's worse than the last one.
I mean, actors I've never heard of, and I'm an actor that most people haven't heard of. I'm like, Jesus, man, I don't know where you're pulling these out your ass all either. But no, like, tell me that's it, though, right?
Yes, please, I'm begging you.
That was pretty bad. Jesus, man.
That was bad. So this is like he does this shit on purpose. It's on purpose.
I've got 2 more.
Oh, good God.
Okay, this is like an HBO.
We're losing her. Look at she's ready. She's like, oh no, my phone's having problems. I'm gonna have to disconnect.
This next one's like an HBO show. It's called The Companions. Toni Collette loses her job in disgrace at her hedge fund. Then she's taken in on pity by a high-priced call girl played by Emilia Clarke. Collette realizes she has upscale contacts and business savvy, and she becomes the Madam to Wall Street. It's Heidi Fleiss meets The Sopranos.
Why is that watchable?
That's not. It's. You have to put yourself in Skipper's shoes. He's picturing is half-naked chicks on the show for like 45% of the show. That's maybe 75. He's also a Marine. So.
Okay, on my last one.
Yep. Oh gosh. No, not the last one.
I led with my strongest ones. I'll say that. This one is
Oh
not my
geez.
strongest.
Those were your strongest?
Patrick Warburton plays Rusty, an angel who just can't get things right. He's given one last chance to be a guardian angel, but this time he has to do it from Earth. And he has to help save Arnold, played by Nick Kroll, a con man. Together, they travel the country helping others and keeping Arnold away from sin. It's called Deliver Me from Temptation, and it's essentially Highway to Heaven meets Dumb and Dumber.
It's like you're writing movies for women with menopause. I don't understand.
No one understands.
I don't know.
No one understands. That no one.
There's gold in here. Hollywood is going to call me. There's gold right here.
No one's calling you. No one at all is calling. And now, any chance I have of talking Mindy into coming on my show, you just shot in the foot by being the dumbest co-host in the history of the world. It just. We'll talk off air. But
Well, that's it for my elevator pitches.
Mindy, are you running in? Are you being throttled on social media at all with your open commentary? Are you running into any roadblocks?
I haven't gained followers on Twitter in I think a year. If I gain some, I lose the same amount, and it's been like that for a really long time. I think at least a year. And it's kind of like that. I can't grow my Instagram, so I do what I do, but I'm not allowed to grow because I won't toe the line for either party, because they both suck. I'm waiting for the day that people right of center realize the GOP is just as fucking bad. They're playing good cop to the bad cop of the Dems, but when they have power, they never fucking do anything because they're cashing the same illegitimate checks. But, I have a dream, broken dream, that they'll wake up. I think they are, but we wouldn't know it either because accounts like me and regular people are being throttled still, and they amplify. Like, I'm still seeing pro-Israel, pro-this, all this shit that I don't care about from people I don't follow in my timeline. Why am I saying it? I'm not commenting on these. Why am I seeing shit I don't want to see? What are the people I'm following? I mean, something needs to change, and I like what Elon's done, but it needs to be more. It really does need to be more.
Are you finding that? I can't imagine that you don't have conversations with everyday people every day. Are you finding that people who don't know who you are at all, are they more willing to listen than they did in the past? Because it used to be really hard to get people to even listen to some of this stuff, and now I get people that walk up. What do you think of this? Everybody in the audience knows I just did a symbolic flag burning last week on my show to show people to me the most desecration that anybody has ever done was threaten to make free expression illegal. That to me is far more of a desecration of the values of this country than anybody who burns a flag in protest. And now I've had people come up to me and ask me, like, do you really hate the country that much? And I'm like, see, this is the conversations I'm trying to have. I don't hate the country. I hate what's become of it. And I hate who runs it. And if it's got you asking questions, then I'm doing something right. And that's where I find myself having more impact is now people are asking me questions. What do you think of this? What, how, or even like, how should I feel about this?
What are you
because
doing
in
my house?
Yeah. Like they're just in their gut, they hear something and part of them wants to say, oh yeah, that I actually, I support that. And then they think about it and they go, wait a minute, that does kind of violate what I believe. So are you having those conversations with people?
I don't know. To me, I feel like the work that I do is the long form version of the game. I've changed my mind about a lot of things, but I've never really been wrong about stuff. And it's like people will unfollow me and then eventually refollow me. It's like a constant battle. People, oh, I can't believe you said that. Unfollow. And then 2 years later, oh, you were right. Refollow. It's this constant claw. That's why I can't gain followers. I'm losing them. I'm gaining them. I'm losing them. I'm gaining them. Because I'll say something that'll piss them off. Burning and piss people off. Whatever. I spoke out against Israel because I used to think Israel was the best country in the Middle East, and then I did some research, and that's how it is. And as long as people are willing to admit that they were wrong, or learn something new, or if something doesn't make sense, like look into it further, and then gain a new perspective, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day. My favorite thing is when people because I swear a lot, they're like, I can't believe you even talk like this. I'm like, have you been following me for 5 fucking minutes? Of all things to unfollow me, that's probably the dumbest. But I just they'll come back, and sometimes I block them if they're just like sexually nasty or something, or if they're not debated. If they're clearly
that would explain why
account wasting my time, I will just block it. Every Ukrainian flag or Israeli flag, I block them. I know they're a bot. No normal person would put that in their fucking profile.
That's why Skipper got kicked off of.
Huh?
That's why Skipper got kicked off of Twitter. It was the sexual nastiness.
Out of the sexual what?
Nastiness.
I was recently suspended from Twitter again.
I can say why. Okay.
Oh,
She gets explanation.
No, someone was arguing with me about something, and I said, we were talking about my military career, and I said, no, we didn't kill people, just Muslims, and I got booted.
I don't know why.
They said that was harassing.
Harassing.
The Muslims are a sensitive crowd.
It bothers me that they are banning free speech, like anti-Semitic, all this stuff. Like every time you criticize a country, not even the people of the country, it's anti-Semitic. Like, that's kind of a problem. I've been called the worst things on the planet. I don't care. I don't care how mean people think. I think that's their right. They want to say that. They can believe it. They can, cover themselves in their own negativity. I don't care. That's on them. So, I don't know. People are. I pray that people are picking up what we're putting down, but I just wish it'd go a little faster. It's probably going faster for people like me that just do this shit all the time. It seems slow. So I have to remember that, telling the world that everything that they were ever taught is a lie can be a bit much for some people.
Well, I think, it's hard when you're in the fight every day and you're having these conversations on a regular basis. And it's really interesting when somebody you didn't know you were talking to walks up and says, man, I heard what you said the other day. And I started digging into it, and man, you were right. Tell me more. And you had no idea that person was even paying attention. That happens to me a lot. I've got a friend who's now a coworker who 3.5 years ago was, a massive, pro-Israel, massive back to blue type, and her phone died again, or she's just had enough of us, which either way makes perfect sense. So
I think that she would be a great guest on your show.
she'd be a blast on Libertarian Lowdown if we could make sure that we'd have to
I think she'll join. I
don't know how to get a hold of her, so
I'll be able to put you two in contact, because her and we've been talking about doing something together for well over a year. It just, there was nothing that aligned. But when the whole thing of Burning Man, I was like, oh, she was at Burning Man, I'd like to talk to her about it. And she was like, oh yeah, let's do something. And I hope she does. If we can get her back on here, I think that'll be great. But if not, I'd like to have her back on this show again. But I'll help you, TC, get in touch with her.
Yeah, she'd be a blast for Libertarian Lowdown.
Got to get her Starlink.
I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with her actual connections. I do think it has something to do with the restream, because mobile was actually because I can have guests on StreamYard who are using their mobiles, and I do not have those issues. I've only noticed it with Restream. Mm-hmm. Now on StreamYard, when I'm trying to stream on a mobile with StreamYard, then I have problems. But if I'm on my desktop, not an issue. But anyway, people didn't come in here to listen to us talk about technical stuff. And if they did, what's wrong with you? I know. I feel like we I want to say this, like what we're seeing play out in our lives right now with the wanting to ban trans people from having guns, or now even at the federal level, more and more people talking about even more sweeping and broad range banning of certain types of weaponry, period. They're talking about long rifles, semi-automatic guns, and period, which really describes 98% of firearms in this country.
So what are we supposed to do? Use bolt action and muskets?
That they're literally talking. That's what they're aiming for. pun intended, that's literally what they're aiming for, is to retroactively go in and make all of those guns. There will be no grandfathering. They want a new version of the National
Mhm.
Firearms Act to make all of that stuff illegal, and even stuff that escaped the NFA. And the concern that I have is that, so you have one side that wants to use mental health disabilities or mental health diagnoses, or even apparent diagnoses, a reason to ban certain people from having guns, and another side that wants to ban pretty much 95% of all guns in the country retroactively. And the one conversation that you're seeing take place now, like in Minnesota, is now you have the anti-law enforcement. And when I say anti, I mean the people that were, out there in 2020 that were burning down police precincts and stuff, are now demanding that law enforcement play a more predominant role in providing security to both private and public schools. And the one thing that I wish I could get people to wake up to on both sides of this issue is that they have to start with admitting that cops are never going to stop these crimes. One side that hates the cops but wants them there to protect the kids, and the other side that loves the cops, and we can't get them to acknowledge that cops never stop these crimes. They never stop these crimes. They may put an end to it on the rare occasion when they arrive on scene and the shooting's still going on, well, except for Uvalde. But the answer to this is not more law enforcement.
Mhm.
The answer to this is better help for people who are struggling with their mental health, and more people walking around with guns. Literally, that's the answer. More help for people with mental health struggles and more people with guns. That's it. Because cops are never going to save you. And very rarely do they solve the crime.
Mhm.
Rarely do they solve the crime.
Yeah.
So,
And they do have no obligation to protect you.
I was about to ask that.
yeah, well, the Castle Rock decision that you're thinking of, and there's two of them, and I cannot think of them both off the top of my head, but the two, one in particular, Castle Rock, that you're thinking of, law enforcement does not have a constitutionally enshrined obligation to defend every individual. And that's what the courts have ruled.
Mhm.
Their ruling is that they have a broad obligation to the welfare of society. The problem that I have with that is that then that puts the cops individually in the position of determining on a subjective level whether or not what they're going to do is going to benefit society. So if they hear about somebody getting the crap beat out of them in a domestic, they're not obligated to go to that call.
Mhm.
They could say, we've been to this place 15 times. We're not going anymore. Or they can say, I am going to respond to this situation, which doesn't need my response because I don't like this person, but it's for the better good of society that I get this person off the street. So it's it opened a door for cops to be their own subjective standard for what's best for society. And as long as those decisions stand, every single law enforcement agency in the country should be required to remove, protect, and serve from their vehicles. It should be to police and enforce. That's it.
Mhm.
And that's not me hating cops. That's just me, realize the more things like that, what happened here in Minneapolis at the Catholic Church school, the more these things happen, the more people need to wake up and realize that that's the reality and the nature of the country that we're living in, and that law enforcement exists to serve their political rulers. That's it.
Mhm.
That's it. That's all they exist for. So, but yeah, if
Yeah.
anybody out there knows anybody with a cadaver, a cadaver dog, a team of cadaver dogs, or anybody who would be willing to help us get in connection with that, you can email me at mbrrpodcast@yahoo.com or reach out to Skipper or AVA and they can help us figure that out. We really do need to find this young man.
We've got the phone number in the scroll down below.
Yes, we do.
Missing for 5 years, guys. That doesn't make sense.
He's hiding. He's hiding.
Right? That's
Trying
weird.
And by the way, they just added a charge. By the way,
What charge?
if I remember, it might be felony fleeing. They might have added the felony fleeing charge to him, like recently, or it could have been a year or so after he disappeared. They added the felony fleeing charge to his.
I mean,
to the event.
that's kind of pointless because of statute of limitations.
Which is why I have so many freaking questions about this situation. It just reeks, but I know Skipper's got to get going. If you guys are not following Veterans Affairs Media, you need to get your asses over there and do that. And you need to just put his videos on in the background and just let them play. Even if you're not paying attention, I don't pay attention to him. He texts me all the time. I don't. But yeah, get over there and sub and help us drive up AVA's watch hours. And if you're watching from either Skipper from Veteran Nation or from AVA, then I'm just trying to get to 5,000 folks. If I can get into 5,000, the algorithm that will solve half my problems. So I'm begging you. I need your help. The other half is there's no amount of medication that'll do anything for that. So, but thanks for getting Mindy on, Skipper.
Like to have her back.
Could have gone better.
And I will, as soon as I'm done here, I'll text her and get her your contact info so she can get onto your channel.
Oh, that'd be awesome. So, AVA, what's our next topic for our next episode?
I was just about to say that. So give me a couple of weeks. I'm getting everything put away for my new house. And
looks like your servants have already straightened up for you.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just the background. My room's a mess right now.
You just moved. That's okay.
I'm not exactly sure what I want to do for the next topic. I have a few of them, mostly based around the cryptids. So we'll talk offline about what that'll be, or we can do Bigfoot.
I can get us, if we're going to talk cryptids, I can get us a doctor of biology as a guest. And I talked to him about cryptids quite a bit, and he does have some good insight.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put my list together and try to get
Is it a friend of yours? Is that what you're saying? It's a friend of yours?
Yeah, it's a guy I grew up with.
Thank you, Lady Jen. But stay tuned for Veteran Nation Unexplained. It will be happening again and again and again.
And again. And one more time.
When tomorrow begins again yesterday.
All right, folks. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Make sure you go to MBRR Podcast on YouTube and follow TC. Also, a Veterans Affairs Media on YouTube and follow Kahanu. And if you're not following Veteran Nation, what the hell's the matter with you?
Oh, one more thing.
After those pitches earlier, I don't blame them.
Also, the Freedom Flock is back for those of you who missed that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we will be doing more as the weather gets chillier. And sadly, we did have a loss last week. We had a red-tailed hawk came down and took Paula last Friday. So a week and 2 days ago, we had a red-tail came down and snagged one of the Freedom Flock and ate her in front of her flock mates, which was traumatizing for everyone. Like, just sat there and they all were like, and they're still very disturbed. Everything sets them off right now.
That's some Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff.
Ed Gein level crazy right there is what that is. So, but yeah, we're going to be setting the camera up in the coop as the weather cools down again. So, yep.
All right,
Skipper,
folks.
get us out of here.
Thanks for joining us. I want to thank our guest, Mindy Robinson. Hopefully, we can get her back, and we'll work through the issues. But for those of you who stuck around, thank you for your questions and comments, as always. And as usual, thank you for being worth serving.